Can you still get up from the floor without grabbing furniture? I want you to think about this seriously, not theoretically, not probably. I mean, right now, if you were on the ground, could you rise without using a chair, a wall, or another person's arm? Because this single ability, this seemingly simple movement, predicts your mortality risk more accurately than most blood tests your doctor runs. And here is the uncomfortable truth. By age 70, the majority of people have already lost at least three of the five fundamental capacities I am about to share with you. They do not realize it. Their families do not mention it. And their doctors rarely test for it. But you are different. You are watching this because you suspect there is a gap between what you are told about aging and what is actually true. And you are correct. By the end of this video, you will know the exact 5 physical benchmarks that separate the top 10% of 70-year-olds from everyone else. And, more importantly, you will know precisely how to reclaim any you have lost. Most people our age give up quietly. Since you are here, I know that is not you. Let us begin with what I call the dignity litmus test. In 2012, a Brazilian physician named Claudio Gil Araujo published research that sent quiet shockwaves through the medical community. He asked over 2,000 adults, ages 51 to 80, to sit down on the floor and then stand back up, using as few supports as possible. The results were startling. Those who needed multiple supports to complete this movement were 5 to 6 times more likely to die within the next 6 years than those who could perform it cleanly. Most seniors believe that difficulty getting up is simply part of aging. They compensate. They avoid the floor entirely. They stop playing with grandchildren on the carpet. They install grab bars everywhere and call it wisdom. But avoidance is not adaptation. It is surrender. When I turned 68, I failed this test. I needed both hands and a knee. I remember the shame of it, not because anyone was watching, but because I knew what it meant. My body was issuing a warning I had been ignoring. Every morning before my coffee, I practice what I call controlled descents. I lower myself to the floor, slowly, with intention, and rise. Some days I use one hand. The goal is fewer supports over time, not perfection tomorrow. If you cannot do this at all yet, begin by sitting on a firm dining chair and standing without pushing off with your arms. Master that first. Your body remembers strength faster than you think. Now, the second benchmark is one your doctor probably checks, but never explains properly, and it reveals more about your future than your cholesterol ever will. How long does it take you to walk 4 meters? 13 feet. The length of a modest living room. Gait speed has been called the 6th vital sign by geriatricians. A walking pace below 0.8 meters per second, roughly 3 seconds to cover those 4 meters, is consistently associated with accelerated cognitive decline, increased hospitalization, and earlier death. This is not speculation. This is data from over 34,000 adults across 9 major studies. Here is what no one tells you. Most seniors slow down before they have a reason to. They adopt what I call the precautionary shuffle, walking carefully to prevent falls that have not happened. And in doing so, they create the very weakness that makes falls inevitable. Your brain interprets slow, tentative movement as evidence that you are fragile. Your muscles receive less signal. Your proprioception, your body's sense of where it is in space, begins to erode. Caution becomes prophecy. I walk fast, not recklessly, purposefully. When I am in the grocery store and younger people are meandering through the aisles with their phones, I move past them. Not to prove anything to them, but to prove something to myself. Walking with intention is a statement. I have places to be. I have relevance. I am not yet finished. Time yourself. Use the hallway in your home. If you are under 3 seconds for 4 meters, you are performing well. If not, the prescription is simple but non-negotiable. Walk faster, more often. Take a daily walk where you push your pace for at least 5 minutes, not a stroll, a march. We will discuss the third benchmark next. And I must warn you, this is the one that surprises people. Most fail it. Most do not even know it matters. Stand on one leg, eyes open, no holding on to anything. How long can you maintain it? If you are 70 and cannot hold this position for at least 20 seconds, you have entered a category of risk that your doctor has probably never mentioned. A 2022 study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine followed over 1,700 adults and found that the inability to complete a 10-second single-leg stance was associated with an 84% higher risk of death from any cause over the following 7 years. 84%. Balance is invisible until it fails. Unlike strength, which you notice when you cannot lift something, or endurance, which you feel when you are winded, balance deteriorates silently. You do not feel yourself becoming unstable. You simply fall one day and wonder what happened. This is why I call it the silent betrayal. Your body stops trusting itself, and you do not receive the memo. After age 50, the 3 systems that govern balance, your inner ear, your vision, and the sensory receptors in your feet and ankles, begin to decline simultaneously. If you do not actively train balance, you lose it at a rate of approximately 1 to 2% per year. By 70, many people have lost 20 to 40% of their balancing capacity without realizing it. I practice standing on one leg while I brush my teeth. Every morning, every evening, 2 minutes per day that may determine whether I spend my 80s traveling or confined. Start against a wall if you must. Touch it lightly for security, then gradually reduce contact. Progress to standing on one leg with your eyes closed. This forces your body to rely on proprioception alone. When you can hold 30 seconds per leg with eyes closed, you have rebuilt a protective buffer most people your age have lost entirely. Point 4 is about to reveal something most seniors never consider, but your children have noticed, even if they have not said a word. When was the last time you opened a jar without asking for help? Grip strength is not about vanity. It is not about impressing anyone with a firm handshake. It is a proxy measurement for your entire body's muscular system, and it predicts your cognitive future with disturbing accuracy. Multiple longitudinal studies have established that weak grip strength in older adults correlates with higher rates of dementia, cardiovascular disease, and functional disability. Your hands are, in a sense, a window into your systemic health. Most seniors lose grip strength because they have systematically removed challenge from their lives. Grocery delivery, pre-opened packaging, electric can openers, power steering. Every modern convenience quietly steals a small demand from your musculature, and what is not demanded atrophies. I carry my own groceries. I garden without gloves when possible. I make my hands work because I understand that a weak grip is the beginning of a weak life. Your children will not tell you this, but they notice. They notice when you hand them a jar. They notice when your handshake softens, and they begin, unconsciously, to see you as someone who needs protecting rather than consulting. That perception shift is social death in slow motion. Squeeze a tennis ball or hand gripper for 2 minutes daily. Hang from a pull-up bar or sturdy door frame, even briefly. Carry heavy bags, short distances. The goal is to reintroduce resistance where convenience has removed it. The 5th and final benchmark may be the most important of all, because it determines not just how long you live, but whether those years contain meaning or merely existence. Can you learn something genuinely new? Not remember old information, not repeat comfortable routines. Learn. Acquire a skill that did not exist in your repertoire 5 years ago. Neuroplasticity does not end at 70, but it requires provocation. The brain adapts to challenge. In the absence of challenge, it begins to prune neural connections like an untended garden being reclaimed by weeds. Most seniors surround themselves with the familiar, the same conversations, the same television programs, the same comfortable opinions. They believe they are relaxing or enjoying retirement. What they are actually doing is allowing cognitive entropy. The brain does not distinguish between peace and stagnation. Without novel input, it begins to dismantle itself. 2 years ago, I learned to play chess. Badly at first, embarrassingly badly. But I persisted because I understood that the discomfort of being a beginner was neurologically necessary. It was medicine, not humiliation. Choose one skill that makes you uncomfortable: a language, a musical instrument, a strategy game, digital photography. It does not matter what. What matters is that you enter the vulnerable state of not knowing and remain there long enough for your brain to respond. The top 10% of 70-year-olds are not simply healthier in body. They are actively, stubbornly engaged with new learning. They refuse to become archives of their former selves. So, where do you stand? Of these 5 benchmarks, rising from the floor, walking speed, single leg balance, grip strength, and cognitive adaptability, how many can you claim with confidence? If the answer is all 5, you are genuinely exceptional. Guard these capacities fiercely. If the answer is fewer than you hoped, you have received valuable information. Not a verdict, information. And information, unlike decline, is a starting point. I did not share these benchmarks to frighten you. I shared them because you deserve truth, not patronizing reassurance. The world is full of people who will tell you that decline is inevitable, that discomfort should be avoided, that your best years are behind you. Those people are not your allies. They are preparing you for irrelevance. You and I are not interested in irrelevance. If you are part of the small minority who refuses to let age define capability, who believes that dignity is earned daily, not granted automatically, then I ask you to remain in this conversation. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Someone who has been told to slow down when they should have been told to rise up. And return here, because we are only beginning. Until next time, stay vital.